Okay, so let's talk about pedigree charts. Pedigree chart shows a record of the family of an individual. It's used to study the transmission of a hereditary condition. We use the square to denote a male. If the square is filled in, that means that male has whatever condition the pedigree chart was being done for. A circle is a female. If it's filled in, shaded in, that female is affected. The line between a male and female shows that they have children. If the person is a carrier female, she carries the trait, is halfway shaded. If it's a carrier male, he's halfway shaded. So this couple had 5 children. The oldest is a girl, the youngest is a girl, the middle child was a boy, and he has whatever condition the pedigree chart was used for. Individuals in each generation are identified by a Roman numeral. So for the Roman numerals, this would be the first generation, second, third, fourth. Individual 2, 1, 2, 3 has the condition. Individual 4, 1 and 2, 2 has it. 2 would be 4, 2 and 4, 3 would both have the condition. So autosomal recessive trait, the trait is rare in the pedigree. We only see it twice in this pedigree chart. It's rare. It skipped the first generation. It affected both a man and a female, male and female. So it affects them equally. What are the genotypes of the affected individuals? Because it's autosomal recessive, both individuals will have 2 lowercase genotypes. So let's just say we're talking about freckles. The genotype for this man would be lowercase f, and this female would be the same, 2 lowercase f. 2, 3 would be little f, 3, 4 would be little f again. That's autosomal recessive. If it's an X-linked recessive pedigree, it's also rare. Notice how only 3 individuals in this pedigree chart has the condition. The fathers don't necessarily pass it, the fathers don't pass it on to their sons. Notice how this father didn't give it to his son 2, 3 and 2, 6. Their sons do not have it. Males are more often affected than females. All the males have it. Why? Because a man passes on his Y chromosome to his sons, so his sons won't have the trait from him. So what are the genotypes of the following individuals? 1, 1 with X-linked recessive, just like with sex-linked Punnett squares, you have to denote the sex of the individual. So if we're talking about hemophilia, that's a sex-linked recessive disease. This man, 1, 1, his genotype would be X, little hy. Remember, men only have to have the trait on their 1X chromosome. All 3 men would have the same genotype. But 2, 2, this female, the only way her son can get an X-linked recessive trait is to get it from her. So she must be a carrier. So her genotype would be X capital H, X little h. And she gave that X little h to her son, and that's how her son got the disease. A good movie to watch about sex-linked traits would be Lorenzo's Oil. It shows the transmission of ALD from mother to child, and it goes into really good detail about it. I would highly recommend it to understand sex-linked traits. An autosomal dominant pedigree chart is very common in a pedigree. Notice how so many individuals have it in a pedigree. You see it in every single generation, and you can clearly see that half of the siblings could possibly get the autosomal dominant trait also. An example of autosomal dominant trait would be polydactyly. Notice how it's in every single generation. Notice how it's in every single generation. Half of siblings can actually get it too. Sickle cell anemia is an example of autosomal recessive trait. It's on chromosome number 11, predominantly in people of African American descent. The symptoms are tired, pain in joints, and the treatment is pain-relieving medication. There's no cure for it, but there is a treatment for it. Cystic fibrosis, another example of autosomal recessive trait on chromosome number 7, predominantly in Caucasians. People that have cystic fibrosis have a lot of mucus in their lungs. We have treatment, which is physical therapy, but there is no cure for cystic fibrosis either. PKU, another example of an autosomal recessive trait. It results in severe damage to the central nervous system. Babies do appear normal at first. Every child in the United States is tested for PKU before they're ever given a bottle. The infants are given a test and a diet low in phenylalanine until their brains fully develop. Huntington's disease is an example of an autosomal dominant trait. You have abnormal body movements, gradual deterioration or loss of intellectual abilities. Some people don't realize they have it until they reach the age of about 30, and death usually follows from complications. That's it, guys.